Hello everyone. Welcome to our September exhibition at Archway Gallery. I'm Joel Anderson, the director, and on behalf of our 33 member artists, we'd like to thank you for your continued patronage. Now, our September exhibition is our very own Barbara Abel, and as guest artists, her son, Daniel Abel, in a show they've entitled Reinvention. Now, we do have the whole exhibition up on our website, archwaygallery.com, where you can view the details of the paintings, prices, etc. But really, nothing beats seeing these paintings in person. And to that extent, I'd like to invite you to come by the gallery for our new extended hours. We've reopened a bit more. We're now open Fridays and Saturdays, 10 to 6 p.m., and Sundays, 1 to 5. If you'd like to visit us during the week, you can send an email to info@archwaygallery.com, and we'd be happy to accommodate you. Please wear a mask, they're required, observe social distancing, and we will be limiting capacity to no more than 10 people at a time to help you feel safe here. Now, let me turn things over to Barbara and Daniel to tell us about their show.
This is Barbara.
And I'm Daniel.
And we are the two-part of the show, Reinvention. And welcome to Facebook Live. Yay!
I just wanted to say, before I get into the detailed works about my pieces, that I'm very grateful for my mother teaching art a la carte and creating a environment that was conducive of expressing myself creatively growing up. I didn't realize that when I was growing up, but I definitely appreciate it now, and I appreciate her inviting me to join her in this show. So thank you.
Hi, this is Barbara Abel, and I'm one half of the art show, Reinvention, here at Archway Gallery. The other half is my son, Daniel Abel, and we welcome you to Facebook Live. We're so excited. I wanted to talk about this painting because this is a trip that I took to Northern California to see the redwoods. I'd been to Muir Woods before, but I wanted to go and see some more redwoods. So I recommend a road called Avenue of the Giants, and it's right off the interstate. It winds through a redwood forest. And so in this particular painting, I took the photograph, I'm looking straight up, and they're so tall and magnificent. And I'm gonna try to not cry because some have caught on fire this past week in California. So that's that painting, and for the way that I approached this painting was to have light be the most important thing in this painting. And so you will see that this is light coming through the forest and how it affects the foliage. There's a lot of ground foliage, and then there's a very high canopy. So that is called Avenue of the Giants, and that is the stately redwood trees, which I love. To me, they're the most magnificent trees in the country. And then we have two abstracts that I did that I put on either side of it. And these were experimental. And what I was trying to do is use some transparent colors with some, I actually have some gold and copper color mixed in with them. And I also added water. So these paintings are very fast, they're very free. You put all the paint on there, you start tilting your canvas, and you see what you end up with. So that one and this one are the same. You can see where I have the water came down and then pooled, puddled, and made beautiful designs on their own. Okay, so now we're going to my paintings from the beach, and this show is about Zen paintings. These are paintings that made me feel comfortable in this horrible emotions I was feeling during the pandemic and being quarantined. So lived 7 years on the coast of Texas and learned everything about boating, learned about offshore fishing, but I would go to the beach and I would meditate. And that sound of the surf roaring is so special to me and so calming. And so these two paintings represent that for me. And so we have here, it's the shoreline, and it's got a very abstract bottom, and again, I'm looking at light and shadow are the most important things for me in this painting. Also temperature. Artists, I want you to pay attention to temperature when you're painting. I want some of your paintings to have cool spots and some to have really warm spots. So then I went on to this one, and this is painted over an abstract painting. So I found it very interesting to have these. I don't think I could intentionally paint these dots on the skin like that. I think that's something that had to happen. So I like the spontaneity of it. And I liked the fact that I was leaving parts in the dark. I didn't want to go into any detail on the parts that were in the dark, because then that brings out the parts that are in the light. So I think this one was successful because you only have a few shafts of light going across here, and the rest is in the dark. And that, I mean, my favorite thing about living in Galveston was sunsets. I would water ski every night, and there was one particular time when the water would just get totally smooth right before the sun went down, and it would reflect the sky. It would be just beautiful rose color. So then we're going on to another Zen painting, and this is from tubing down the Guadalupe River. Also, there's a river in San Marcos, but in this one, I remember it would be like 100 degrees outside. You get in your tube, and the water is freezing because it's coming out from the bottom of the dam. So this was, I just decided that I wanted to paint people. And I wanted to paint people in very simple for all you artists. I wanted to only use 3 layers. I wanted to do 1 layer for shadow, 1 for a mid-tone, and then come back and use highlights. And that's all you need. That's all you need to paint your figures. So I kept with that through the whole painting. And my favorite part, of course, is the guy with the white dog, poor dog. But you think they're going to have fun, but usually they don't. So this is a painting about tubing down the river. And finally, we have a painting about wonderful little festivals that we have here in Texas. And oftentimes they're at night because that's the only time it's really cool enough. And in this particular one, we have a tent with tamale. So this is about beer and tamale and people getting together on these wonderful little festivals in Texas. So hope you come on and see the show. Thank you very much.
The first work that I wanted to talk about was this one right here. It is actually a depiction of my girlfriend. I initially started the piece because I produced my own music, and I wanted to create graphics to go along with the music and create a music video. And after starting on the project, I realized that I really enjoy doing the artwork behind this, and I really liked everything about it. So that kind of inspired the rest of the show. In this piece, actually, in all of these pieces, I used Procreate, and I created them digitally. I just wanted to mention that all of these pieces are created digitally, but they're one-of-one prints. Once they're sold, they're never going to be reproduced again. So it's a unique work. This one, I used about like 25 or 30 layers, and I used a time-lapse function to create my video. And in creating that music video, I found this color scheme that I came up with and really, really loved it. And so I decided to create a high quality print of it, and I really think it came out well, and it pushed me creatively to work on physical art more than my expression through music. I did the same process here. I used a slightly different color scheme, and I actually started with the background and was going to do just a basic abstract piece here. But once I had gotten the background where I wanted to, I didn't feel as though it was where I wanted it to be. So I did a self-portrait. It was like the only thing around, you know, with this coronavirus keeping us quarantined. And so I took a funny picture of myself and used it to create this new piece, this self-portrait. And I really like how it came out. We'll move on to this one right here. This one is really quite important to me. It is a depiction of my best childhood friend growing up that died when we were 18. And so this is the 10-year anniversary of his death. And so I started it on his birthday this year and really spent a lot of time on it. And I think it came out phenomenally. It represents a lot to me. It's called Reduction. And I think that goes along with the theme of reinvention. I had to be reduced to this point that I never wanted to be and never wanted to experience to get to where I am today. And I think that Griff, my buddy, was a huge part of that reduction. And so I created this depiction in a similar way. I was using basically like a heat thermal looking color scheme for it and highlighting the different tones in his face and his hand. And then I used the outline layer and the accents and enlarged them and slid them back a little bit to create this effect that there's like a pulling his soul away, I guess you could say. And that it kind of represents for me that, you know, some things are fleeting, oftentimes the best things, and that we should appreciate them when we have them. I also included his hand holding the world in this one just because he was always very good at looking at the bright side of things, and I think that right now everyone needs that. You know, I think that it's a very weird time that we live in, and that no matter what, your reality is in your hands, and your perception is your whole life. And I really do enjoy this one. It's probably the most meaningful of them for me. And then I'll end with this one here. This is a depiction of Colorado National Monument State Park. And I had quite a life-changing experience there. I went on a rafting trip and got bucked off the raft and swept down in the rapids. And it was one of the few times in my life where I felt like this could go wrong and it could be the end. And so it really made me think a lot. So I really wanted to depict that as a big changing point in my life and exemplify appreciating everything that we don't think about every day, you know. And so I took this picture, or the picture that it's based off of, and then I split it up into thirds and did the foreground, midground, and background all in separate files and separate layers. So each section is about 50 layers, and I used overlay techniques to combine all of the different files. And I just think that it really exemplifies where the world could have gone and where my life could have gone. It could have been over there, but we keep pushing and we get through. And that's why we called the show Reinvention, that we're resilient and that we can continue to move forward no matter what happens, how bad it seems in the moment. So I really hope that you guys check out the show online and possibly in person, and check out our Facebook Live video and all of our stuff. And I just wanted to welcome my mom back on here. And
yay, we're so excited to do Facebook Live.
woo!
Woo!
Awesome.
Hi, I'm back with one final plug, so visit the show on our website, archwaygallery.com, or come by the gallery Fridays and Saturdays 10 to 6, and Sundays 1 to 5. Monday through Thursday, if you'd like to come in, send us an email at info@archwaygallery.com. Have a great September.